discussing an issue that affects every American, education.
Or the lack of education.
That brings us to our first segment for tonight's show, our growing national debt.
The newspaper has reported that our national debt has doubled since 2013, an estimated $6 trillion.
Well, Erica, the government has cut back dramatically on their spendings, especially on education.
Maybe that explains why America can't seem to crawl out of the hole we dug ourselves into. It is true that the government has cut back on education, but it seems as if all the cutbacks are not doing anything for our economy.
I agree. Our government sees educating our youth as a burden instead of what it really is, an investment. After all, the Constitution says that we the people are the government, but our voters are becoming less and less educated about what's really going on.
The less educated our voters are, the easier it is for people in office to steer the government in their direction, instead of the needs and wants of the people. There was an interesting report in 2013 from the CBPP, or the Center on Budget and Priority Policies, that said, areas with highly educated residents tend to attract strong employers who pay their employees competitive wages. Those employees in turn buy goods and services from others in the community, broadly benefiting the area's economy.
Now, only if more of our population can afford to go to college. That's exactly what happened to Eric Lopez, a celebrated war hero who proudly served our country. Dan Willow has more on the story.
Good evening, ladies. I'm Dan Willow, and I'm out here with ex-Marine Eric Lopez. Eric, please tell us how you went from a celebrated war hero to a homeless living in the streets of Santa Ana.
Well, then, when I got home from war, I no longer had an arm. And since before I went to war, I could only get a high school education, and that's all I came back with. And I could not find a job with only high school education. And these days, it's impossible. I know, I've tried all my life.
Why couldn't you get an education?
Why couldn't you get a higher education?
Well, I tried, and it was something really of my interest, but I could not afford it without it. I could have gotten loans, but I would have been in debt my whole life.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Eric. I wish you the best of luck. And now we go back to the studio with Erica and Jasmine. I'm Dan reporting live.
Thank you. I would like to thank you guys for putting recognition towards all the ex-Marines that have served our country, you know. I hate the fact that I have to live this life. I just wanted to put that out there.
And there we have it, folks. This is Dan reporting live for HB 101.
Thank you, Dan. Such a shame to hear what's going on with a lot of our veterans.
It's a difficult time for every American. I remember when I was a child, my mother would talk about when California taxpayers would pay the college tuition for California residents. But with our poor economy, that money is being spent in different ways.
It is in my opinion that education should be at the top of the list for our government. Since a high school diploma seems to be the highest level of education, it is important that our teachers are ready and able to teach our children.
More teachers should be like our next guest, high school history teacher Luz Morales. We'll welcome her after our break. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Luz, you seem to be one of the few young people interested in the teaching field.
Yes, it's always been a dream of mine ever since I was a little girl.
And what do you think about education in the United States?
It's a shame, really. With all these government cutbacks, it's becoming more and more difficult to teach my students. Some of them are really bright, but need special attention to get to the level where they need to be at.
And what else do you think is a reason?
I think it's because college education is so expensive nowadays, not many people can afford it. And those who can do not want to get into debt for a career that's low paying with no job security.
Thank you, Luz, for joining us today. We can only hope that we have more dedicated teachers like yourself.
Thank you. This just in. The government has implemented martial law.
Seems as though an unemployment office is being run down by angry civilians.
Reports that civilians are angry because they don't have the means necessary to provide for their families the basic necessities of life. Americans are no longer able to provide such things as food, water, and clothing.
We can trace this back to the fact that our government has failed. All the approved cutbacks are the reason why this is going on today.
Our cameras are at the scene. We strongly advise that everyone stays inside their homes. There are bombs, shooters, and violent riots. It's not safe for the public.
We'll have more on the story as the night progresses. Meanwhile, thank you all for joining us tonight. This is Jasmine Cuevas.
And I'm Erica Rodriguez, reporting live for HB 101.